Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mary. If you're new here, obviously if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back, and if you're one of those who has never commented but is always watching, thank you still. I really appreciate. On today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 70 countries you can visit visa free if you have a UK visa. That is, there are 70 countries that you can go to visa free as long as you have a valid UK visa or UK BRP or an ILR, which is an indefinite leave to remain. So sit back, relax, pick up your jotters and your pens and take note of the next place you're going to go for your vacation, and you don't have to bother about getting a visa. Obviously on this channel I've told you how to get a Schengen visa. I've also mentioned in a short video the countries that you can go to without a visa, without applying for a visa, if you have a UK visa or if you have a BRB. I've also gone to some of these countries and I have shared with you the views and the things that you can do in these countries. Top on the list, of course, is Montenegro. So today I'm just going to list out the countries and I'll tell you the conditions with which you need to note if you're planning to go to any of these countries. So if you haven't subscribed, this is a good time. It is free. All you need to do is just click the subscribe button that is down below somewhere on this video and you will be subscribed. You automatically be notified. If you click the bell, you'll be notified when I upload a new video, and you would know that you should come and watch. I'm talking a lot and I'm losing my words. So let's just get right into this video today. I'm going to start, of course, with Africa because I have a list. I obviously could not get all of these details in my head, so I had to write a list, and I have it here in my jotter, so I'm going to be looking down a lot. This is funny because, like I always say, why do people say I'm always going to be looking down? Well, I'm going to be looking down a lot when obviously the people who are watching should know, but here I am saying the same thing. So I'm going to look down because I have it jotted in my jotter because there are so many details, and I'm going to try to be as slow and efficient as possible. So if you miss something, just rewind or drop your comments in the comments section. A disclaimer, I'm not a professional. I didn't go to school to study tourism, or I've forgotten what that course is, but that's not what I studied. So I'm not a professional guide. I'm just someone who is enthusiastic about traveling, and I'm sharing the information as I'm going because, like, I feel like for you to have lived, you ought to have traveled. You need to experience different cultures, different foods, different roads, different houses, different everything different from what you are used to. So of course I'm advising you, I'm encouraging you to travel. And if you have a UK visa or if you live in the UK, this is very easy and straightforward for you because flights from the UK, there are many options. There's Ryanair, there's EasyJet, there's Wizz Air. They are all very affordable, so you should take advantage of the situation of where you are. So let's get right into the video. Like I said, I'm going to start with the continent Africa. There are a couple of countries in different continents where you can travel to visa free, so I'll start with Africa. The first on my list is Morocco. Obviously I've been to Morocco. You should have seen my Morocco video. Morocco is a burst of energy, although there are people who have their reservations about Morocco, but I still feel like it's somewhere worth visiting because of the contrast between the cities from the south to the north of the country. So Morocco is visa free. Well, is visa exempt for anyone who has a valid used or unused UK visa, anyone who has an indefinite leave to remain, or you have a biometric residence permit. A biometric residence permit is the permit that the UK usually gives to its students. So if you're a student and you're watching this video, if you're an international student and you're watching this video, yes, you can go to Morocco. All you need to do is apply for the e-visa online. I think the e-visa is about $50, $50 US. I'm not so sure. please confirm everything that I'm going to say in this video. When you have picked a country, if a country has piqued your interest, go to their official website and confirm, because from the time when I'm making this video to the time when you might want to travel, the rules might have changed. So you need to always confirm from the official website of these countries. So I think when I applied, the Moroccan visa was about $50. I'm not so sure, $50 US. All you need to do is go to their official website and put in your details, and you get the visa. I think I applied and in less than 3 days I got the visa in my mail, and that was all that I needed. So if you have a UK visa, you are eligible for Moroccan e-visa. The next country in Africa that you can go to visa free is Egypt. For you to be eligible, you have to have a used and valid visa. So BRPs and ILRs are not permitted to go to Egypt. And now Egypt is not exactly visa free. What it means is that you're eligible for a visa on arrival, and it costs only 25 USD. I mean, if you have a UK visa and it is valid, you can go to Egypt, and when you get there, you apply for a visa that is 25 USD only. Egypt is a beautiful country. Obviously, you want to visit Egypt. I'm going to move from there now, from the continent of Africa. There's just 2 countries that you can go visa free with a UK visa in Africa, to the best of my knowledge. I don't have the final say on this. So I'm going to move from there to Europe. Obviously, this is the closest to you if you have a UK visa, or if you live in the UK. Europe, you're in the continent of Europe, so these countries are closer to you. They are cheaper for you to go to. They are cheaper for all around, more convenient for you if you're living in the UK and you have a visa, or if you're visiting the UK and you have a visa. First on my list is Turkey. Turkey used to be if you had a UK visa, you were eligible for an e-visa if you were Nigerian or Ghanaian and some other countries. But now they've limited it. There's just 19 countries that are eligible to get into Turkey if they have a UK visa. If you have a used visa or an unused visa, and or you have an ILR or you have a BRP, you are eligible to apply for a Turkish e-visa, and it costs 45 USD, and it is valid for 30 days. The next country on the list is Serbia. Serbia is valid. For you to be valid to go to Serbia, you have to have a used or unused visa. No BRPs and no IRs are accepted. And if you have a visa, if you have a valid use, even if you've used the visa or you haven't used the visa, what that means is if you've used your UK visa to travel to the UK before or not, so used or unused, you're valid to go to Serbia for 90 days. The next country on my list is Montenegro. Montenegro is like the best place for you to go if you're living in the UK, because it's very convenient, it's very affordable. I say this a lot. I've always been preaching the gospel of Montenegro. It's a very beautiful country. It has a contrast of climate as well, so there's just so much that you can see, and it's not such a big country, so it's somewhere that you can tour in a week. My friends and I did it in 5 days or thereabouts. We went almost everywhere in Montenegro, almost all the cities in Montenegro. So you can do it. It's a small country, it is affordable, and if you have a used or unused visa, if you have an ILR, if you have an indefinite leave to remain, that's such a difficult word to pronounce, or a difficult what's it called again? ILR. ILR stands for indefinite leave to remain. If you have an indefinite leave to remain card, or you have a biometric resident card, which is what students have, you're eligible to go to Montenegro. All you need to do is buy your ticket, go with your passport and your BRP or your ILR or your passport that has your visa. fly to Montenegro. That's all you need to do. You show them at the border control and you are good to go. And you can stay in Montenegro for as long as 30 days in one visit. So that's good. That's somewhere you really want to visit if you are looking for a holiday spot. The next on my list is North Macedonia. If you have a used or unused visa, you can go to North Macedonia. No BRPs, no ILRs. So if you have a BRP or you have an ILR, you cannot visit. But if you have a visa, even if you've used it or you've not used it to go to the UK, you can use it to go to North Macedonia, and you can stay for 15 days. Okay? The next country on my list is Gibraltar. Gibraltar is also a very beautiful small country. It is a British territory, so you can go to, obviously if you're in the UK, the British, so you can go to a British territory, but there are conditions to this. If you have a used or unused visa, you can go. If you have ILR or you have a BRP, you can go. You can stay for 180 days. UK visa must have been used for at least 6 months. That means your visa should have been valid for at least 6 months before you go to Gibraltar. I'll take that again. It is valid for used and unused visas, but your visa must have been valid for at least 6 months before you're trying to go to Gibraltar. So you must have had visa. So what that means is you cannot go to Gibraltar if you have a 6 months visa. You can go to Gibraltar if you have a 1 year visa or longer visas. But before you go, it should have been valid for at least 6 months before you can go. Now, if you have a BRP or an ILR, it must have been valid for at least 1 year. So let's say you've been in the UK, your course is for 2 years or your course is for 16 months. You must have been in the UK for at least 12 months before you can use your BRP to go to Gibraltar, and you can stay for 180 days. Again, before you pick a country to visit, you need to check the website. When you pick a country, check the website, check the official website if they must have updated some information that are very important. The next country on my list is Ireland. There are 14 countries that can go to Ireland if they have a UK visa. All standard visas. No residency permits are allowed. So if you have ILR or you have a BRP, you cannot go to Ireland. You have to, what is valid is your visa, and you can stay for 90 days. Another country which is funny, I didn't even know there was a country called this is Moldova. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. 55 countries can go to Moldova if they have a UK visa. Whether you've used the visa or you haven't used the visa, it is valid. If you have ILR or you have a BRP, you can also go to Moldova, and you can stay in Moldova for 90 days in one period, in one trip. The next country in Europe is Albania. Albania is also somewhere that is very similar to Montenegro. Not so much fuss, it is affordable, it's close to the UK, so you can find cheap flights that will take you there. If you have a valid used visa, so what that means is the visa must still be valid, not expired, and you must have used it to go to the UK before you can use it to go to Albania. You can stay for 90 days in one period. So if you have an ILR or you have a visa or you have a BRP, you can go to Albania. All you need to do is buy your ticket and go to Albania. At the border control, they'll stamp your passport and you'll be good to go. The next country is Armenia. There are 51 countries that are eligible to go to Armenia if they have a UK visa. Unfortunately, Nigerians are not among, Ghanaians are not amongst other countries. But all visas can go. There are different categories of visas. So there's like 6 months visa, there's a standard visitor visa, there's transit visa. But Armenia is saying if you have any kind of visa, you can go to Armenia. But no Nigerians, no Ghanaians, and a couple of other countries. There are 51 countries that are eligible to use their visas to go to Armenia, and they get visa on arrival. Another country on my list is Georgia. If you have a used or an unused visa, you can go to Georgia. If you have an ILR or you have a BRP, you can go to Georgia and you can stay there for 90 days. Moving on from Europe, the next country, the next region I want to go, I was going to say continent, but the Middle East is not exactly a continent. So the next region I want to go to is the Middle East. The first country is Bahrain. All used or unused UK visas are eligible. No BRPs and no ILRs. So if you have a BRP or you have an ILR, you're not eligible to go to Bahrain visa free, or visa on arrival. It's visa on arrival that is given. So if you have a used or an unused UK visa, you can go to Bahrain and you get the visa upon arrival at the airport. The next country on my list is the UAE. Unfortunately, the only countries that can go to the UAE without a visa are Indians. They're eligible for visas on arrival and it costs 100 dirham, like Dubai dirham, and they can only stay for 14 days on a single entry. So there are a lot of Indians in the UK. So if you're an Indian national and you want to see Dubai, Habibi, it's free for you. You can go there for 14. It's not free, I'm sorry. You can go there and stay for 14 days. You get your visa on arrival. It's just 100 dirham at the airport, any international airport in Dubai. The next country is Saudi Arabia. Hey Jumana. If you have a used visa, not an unused visa now, if you have a used visa, you can use it to go to Saudi Arabia. Or if you have a BRP and you have an ILR, you can go to Saudi for 90 days. To be eligible for visa on arrival or e-visa is 30, oh my god, I missed the word now, it's 300 Saudi money. I'm sorry, I don't remember what it's called, but it costs 300 Saudi money and it is valid for 1 year and is multiple entry. So if you have a BRP or a used visa or an ILR, you can go to Saudi. Saudi is also a very beautiful country. They're very innovative, the country as well. It's akin to Dubai. So if you get the visa once, it is valid for a whole year. If you ask me, that's a very good deal because most of these other countries who offer visa on arrival, it's a single entry, e.g. Morocco. If you get the visa one time, a single entry, the next time you want to go to Morocco, you need to apply again. But Saudi, if you get the visa once, it's valid for 1 year. That's a very good deal. The next country on my list is Qatar. All used or unused visas are permitted. All ILRs and BRPs are also permitted. You can apply for an e-visa. E-visas are very easy and they are rarely rejected. All you need to do is just apply. It's like just fill your bio data and that's it, and you pay the money and you get your visa. So if you're going to Qatar, it's you can stay for 30 days after you get your e-visa. The next country is Oman. There are 25 countries nationals that can travel to Oman visa free. All used or unused visas are allowed. ILR, BRPs are also allowed, and you're eligible for a tourist visa, which is very affordable, confirmed from their website. The next country on my list is Jordan. Excuse me. There are 59 countries. Luckily for us Nigerians, we are eligible to go to Jordan. The next country on my list is Jordan. Luckily for us Nigerians, we are eligible. We are among the 59 countries that are eligible to travel to Jordan if we have a UK visa or a passport. Oh, sorry. If you have a UK visa, a BRP or an ILR, you get an e-visa. Your BRP or ILR must be valid for 6 months from the day of arrival. Say you're going to Jordan today, your UK BRP or ILR must be valid for at least 6 months from when you arrive. Okay, so plan a trip to Jordan. Moving on from the Middle East, the next region I'm going to is South America. So if the country in South America that validates UK visas is Peru, but unfortunately it's just for 2 countries, China and India. So if you're Chinese or if you're Indian, you can travel to Peru if you have a UK visa, even if you've used it or you haven't used it. And if you also have an ILR, you're eligible to go to Peru visa free. The next region I am moving to is, I feel like I'm having a lot of words in my mouth. The next region I'm moving to is North America. First country on the list is Mexico. Who doesn't want to go to Mexico? Who doesn't like Mexico? Who doesn't like the pictures and all the movies that we see from Mexico and the food? Of course. So if you have a UK visa, used or unused, you're eligible to go to Mexico. If you have an ILR, you're also eligible to go to Mexico, and you can stay for 180 days. Unfortunately, to students, if you have a BRP, you're not eligible to go to Mexico. The next region is Central America. First country on my list is Panama. If you have a used valid visa, so your visa must have been used, which means you should have gone to the UK, and it should still be valid at the time you want to travel to Panama. If you have BRPs and ILRs, you can go to Panama as well. You can stay for 30 days at least, at most rather. The next country is Costa Rica. This reminds me of oh my god, how can I forget his name? The Nigerian actor who said Costa Rica. Does that ring a bell? There's like a meme that's been circulating. He says Costa Rica. One of old Nollywood movies. The guy in The Johnsons, Mr. Johnson in The Johnsons, is the one that said that thing. Anyway, this country is Costa Rica. If you have an unused or used tier 1, tier 2, tier 4 or tier 5 visa, you can go to Peru. If you have ILR, if you have a BRP, what that means is that, hey, international students, you can go to Costa Rica, and you can stay for at least 30 days. Your permit, which is your visa or your BRP or ILR, must be valid for at least 3 months when you're traveling to Peru. Remember that you can only stay for 30 days in one travel period, and your BRP must be valid for at least 3 months. Moving on from there to the Caribbean, the first country is Anguilla. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Is it Anguilla or Anguilla? So if you have a used visa or an unused visa, you can go to Anguilla. If you have BRP or ILR, you can go to Anguilla, and you can stay for 90 days. That's a long time for a holiday. And you know what? The Caribbean is fun, right? You've seen all the videos, you've seen all the carnivals. That's home to carnivals, and you want to experience that. So why not take this opportunity now that you have a UK visa or a BRP? The next country is Antigua and Barbuda. Forgive my pronunciations. Again, if you have a used or an unused visa, you can go. If you have a BRP or you have an ILR, you can also go, and you can stay for 30 days. You receive your visa on arrival if you're going to Antigua and Barbuda. Forgive my pronunciations again. You receive your visa on arrival for 100 USD. So it's not exactly visa free, but you can get your visa on arrival, which is pretty seamless. The next country is Aruba. Used or unused visas are permitted. ILRs and BRPs are also permitted, and you can stay for 30 days. And then the Bahamas, unfortunately, is only valid for Indians. So if you're an Indian national and you have a UK visa, you can go to the Bahamas and you can stay for 90 days. Next country is Bermuda. If you have a used or unused visa, you can go. If you have an ILR or a BRP, aka international students, you can also go to Bermuda and you can stay for 30 days. Your documents should be valid. That is your BRP or your ILR or your passport must be valid for at least 45 days after departure. Bonaire is the next country. If you have a used or unused visa, you can go there. If you have an ILR or a BRP, you can go and you can stay for 90 days. So it's visa free, absolutely visa free. The next is British Virgin Islands. If you have a used or unused visa, you can go to British Virgin Islands. But unfortunately, if you have an ILR or a BRP, you cannot go. But if you have a visa, like a visa stamp on your passport, you can go, even if you've used it or you haven't used it, and you can stay for 180 days. That's a long time for a holiday. The next country is Cayman Islands. Unfortunately, just 3 countries are eligible to go to Cayman Islands: Jamaica, India, and China. you must arrive directly from the UK. This is the condition. So you must be coming from the UK for you to be able to enter Cayman Islands. So you cannot be traveling from Jamaica or from India or from China if you're a national. Even if you have a UK visa, you must be coming directly from the UK if you're trying to get to Cayman Islands visa free. The next country is Curacao. I like this country for one reason. Anyway, if you have a used or unused visa, you can go. If you have an ILR, you can go. If you have a BRP, you can go, and you can stay for 90 days. It's also an island country. It's beautiful as well, and they have great food, I hear. So make a trip, plan a trip with your friends, go to Curacao. The next country is Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic is iconic to me right now. Or is iconic is not the word, but my friend is currently in Dominican Republic, and guys, it is beautiful. I feel like you wouldn't know if you do not know, but it is very beautiful, and you just need to visit it, because I have plans to visit. She has made me, she plans to return to the country, like she plans for us to go back to the country with her. So that's tell you that it's beautiful. It's somewhere you want to see. So if you have a UK visa, used or unused, if you've traveled to the UK with it or not, if you have a BRP or you have an ILR, you can go to Dominican Republic and you can stay for as much as 30 days. Next country on my list is Jamaica. This is funny because yesterday or day before yesterday, I saw the movie on Netflix about Bob Marley, and for some reason, all of a sudden, I mean, I've wanted to go to Jamaica. It's on my list, but I was not as eager as I am now. I really want to go to Jamaica. I want to see where Bob Marley was buried. He was such an iconic figure, and it's amazing that he was just 36 when he died. Like everything, almost everybody, he's one of the most famous figures on earth. He cut across divides, and he was just 36. He's iconic. So I really want to go to Jamaica. If you're Croatian, if you're Montenegrin, most of the countries in the Balkans are among the 13 countries that are eligible to go to Jamaica visa free if they have a multiple entry visa. Unfortunately, no BRPs, no ILRs, but if you have a visa as multiple entry and you're part of these 13 countries, you're eligible to go to Jamaica for free. I've heard too many things about Jamaica. Amongst these things, their braids, their parties, their liquor. You should go to Jamaica. The next island country is St. Martin, and all visas, used or unused, BRPs and ILRs are eligible to go there, and you can stay for 90 days. The next country is Turks and Caicos. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah, Turks and Caicos is also a country where if you have a BRP or if you have an ILR, if you have a used or unused visa, you can go to the country and stay for at most 30 days. I think that is all I have to cover. I feel like I've spoken a lot. My mouth is... Oh yeah, I have one more continent. I'm sorry about that. I have one more continent that with countries for you to visit if you have a UK visa. So moving on to the next continent, it is Asia. So Japan is visa free for people who have valid residence visas. So if you're a student, if you're a worker, resident visas, now not visitor visas. So if you have a BRP as a worker or as a student, you're eligible to go to Japan for 90 days. You're eligible for an e-visa, but you have to show a proof of residency in the UK, which can be like a utility bill or your like light, water, house bill, house rent, whatever. You need to prove that you actually live in the UK. But good news to students, you can go to Japan visa free. The next country is very tricky because I don't know how to pronounce it. Kyrgyzstan is visa free for Chinese and Indian nationals. If you have a used or unused UK visa, you can go there. But the visa, the catch is the visa you have has to be a long-term visa. So a visa that is 3 years plus valid, like from 3 years and above. If you have a 6 months visa, you can't go. If you have a 1 year visa or 2 years visa, you can't go. It must be at least 3 years and above. If you're Indian or China, you can go to this country. Unfortunately, no BRPs or ILRs are permitted, and you can only stay for 7 days. And after that 7 days, the next time that you can enter the country is another 21 days. Take note of that. The next country is the Philippines. The country that is eligible to go to the Philippines is India. You have to have a used or unused visa, BRP or ILR. So if you're Indian, you can go to the Philippines and you can stay for 14 days at most. The next country is Singapore. Chinese and Indian nationals can go to Singapore if they have a UK visa, but there's a catch. You can't go there for a holiday. You can only stay for 4 days. So it's sort of like a transit town. You must be coming from the country where you have your passport from and passing through Singapore and going to the UK. Bottom line is you must touch your home country if you're traveling from there. So you're just basically using Singapore as a transit point. The next country is South Korea. All nationals are exempt except 23, of which Nigeria is inclusive. So every other country is allowed to go to South Korea if they have a UK visa, except Nigeria. Except 23 countries, and Nigeria is one of them. So if you have a used visa, if you have an unused visa, an ILR or a BRP, you can go there and you can stay for 30 days, but you must be coming from the UK or going to the UK. That feels like a lot of words. I'll take it again. South Korea is a country that is visa free if you have a UK visa, a BRP or an ILR. You might have used the visa or not. You can only stay for 30 days and you must be coming from the UK directly or going to the UK directly from South Korea. The next country is Taiwan. The countries there are just a handful of countries that are eligible to go there if they have a UK visa, and they are Cambodia, India, Indonesia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. You must have a valid visa or an expired visa. Now, this is something. So if you have a UK visa before and it has expired, you're still eligible to go there. It can be single or multiple entry, but no transit visa. You know, there are transit visas that you just need to transit through UK. Those are not allowed to go to Taiwan. It's valid. You can stay in the country for 14 days. You can apply online free of charge. So it's an e-visa, but it's free of charge. You don't have to pay for it. And if your document has expired, like your visa has expired, it must have expired in the last 10 years, like not older than 10 years from when you are applying. So that is the catch. And you can stay in the country for 14 days, one visit. The last country on my list is Thailand. If you're a UK resident visa, that is you're a student or you're a worker. If you have a UK resident visa, you're a student or you're a worker, you can go to Thailand visa free. It's all valid ILRs and BRPs as well. You can stay for 60 days. You're eligible for an e-visa and it costs only 40 USD. You have to also show a proof of residence in the UK. I feel like this video is very long and there's just so many things to say. But in all of these countries that I've mentioned, don't mind me, there are just 42 countries. Me saying 70 at the start of this video was just to raise your eyebrows. But yeah, all I'm trying to say is that there are places that you can go to and have an absolutely good time without spending on visas or the stress of having to bring documents, bank statements, flight itinerary, booking reservations and all of that. You can just buy a ticket and go to these countries. So what are you waiting for? Make sure that you take that trip today, or you plan for that trip today while you still have the time. See see you in the next video, where I tell you visa-free countries to visit as someone who has a Canadian visa. And also the next video is going to be visa-free countries for Nigerians. So if you live in Nigeria and you have a Nigerian passport, there are a lot of countries that you can visit visa-free. Until next time, please subscribe and like this video, share it, follow me on my socials. If you have a question, drop it in the comment section. If you have a correction, also drop it in the comment section. And yeah, again, did I say the title of this video? So this video is 42 countries that you can travel to visa-free or semi-visa-free if you have a UK visa, valid, expired, BRP or ILR. Thank you for watching. See you next time.